month ago, if I told you that Buffaloes and Palmerston would be in the top 5 of the NTFL this season, you would have put me in the asylum and locked me up, thrown away the key, but that's exactly what's happened, and I'm here with Gray Morris to talk about that. Gray, it's absolutely amazing, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes. We all thought that it was going to be a bit of a one-man show, or two-man show with Nightcliff, but gee, it's probably the most even competition for years.
Round 9 this week is women's round. It's a big round for the women playing footy and all the women that make such a magnificent contribution to football. And let's just quickly go through those games. Tracy Village taking on the Buffaloes, Nightcliff take on Waratahs, Palmerston and St Mary's. All of those games will be on AFLN TV and live streamed, which is great.
Magnificent. And
then Southern Districts take on Wanderers on Sunday. So a great initiative, and it's good to see that the girls are in the spotlight this week, Gray.
Yes, and the NT News is actually going out to get a bit of a story on two Buffettes who are playing their 100th games this weekend, so it should be great.
Superb news, and I mentioned the Southern Districts Wanderers game. I want to talk about Wanderers, and let's move on to Wanderers in the Premier League, Gray. They're struggling at the moment. They've lost their last 3 by an average of 44 points. They really are the wounded muck-mucks at the moment.
Yes, it's not good. They, as we all know, they played off in last year's grand final, and everyone thought, hello, they're going to be there again. They're much the same side. In fact, I can't think of any players I may have lost. But you're right, the injuries are starting to bite at Wanderers. Very, very ordinary last week against St Mary's. Very ordinary.
And this week, as we said, they take on Southern Districts. Their form's been up and down. A loss on the Islands, which you predicted, Gray.
Yeah, I was out there last Sunday. A nice, warm, hot Tui Islands it was, as normal too. But
Did you have the hat on?
I didn't, without a hat, as you can see. But yes, I watched the 2 weeks. They were very good. They moved the ball very well, and Districts floundered a bit for the first 2.5 quarters. It was only towards the end of the game that they woke up and realised they were in a game of football. So I think out of Fred's pass, they're really going to have to be switched on right from the first bounce, because Wanderers will come out snarling.
Well, Southern Districts and Wanderers both after a win. One team that has had a number of wins in the last 4 weeks. 4 in a row for the Magpies. The Palmy Army are up and about, Gray Morris.
Yes, I had a mate out at that game last week saying they could hear the Palmy Army singing songs. And when they start singing songs, it means the Black and Whites are winning. And whether they can keep that up against St Mary's, though, is a question, Dave.
I'm going to put it out there, Gray. Alwyn Davey, he's my Smoky for the Nichols medal. He's maybe not a Smoky, he's probably up there with one of the favourites, but I reckon he's got to be a good show.
Well, he is. He's a joint leader, of course, in the NT News Award as well. NT News Darwin Sporting Bet Player of the Year. So, flying, the ex-Essendon player, and of course you've got another guy out there who's getting a few kicks called Leroy Jetta.
Certainly is. They take on St Mary's. This is the litmus test for them. This is a huge game. This will really tell us where Palmerston are at, and also, obviously, how good their form stacks up against the competition's best.
That's right, you aren't anywhere unless you beat St Mary's, Dave, and gee, St Mary's have got a couple back this week too. Carl Lowe to be back for the first time in about 8 weeks. He's had trouble with his left shoulder. So will Jackson Geary, is a very, very good footballer from down there in Victoria. So yeah, it'll be a very tough ask, but I'm sure Dean Rioli's got his boys switched on, and they'll have to be, because I can tell you what, St Mary's do not like losing games of football.
Moving to the Saturday game, our game on AFLN TV this week. Dale Fletcher and myself will be there to cover the game, the AFLN TV live game of the week, and that is Tiwi taking on Buffaloes. The Buffaloes, 3 in a row, they're in red-hot form, Gray.
Yes, I watched the AFLN TV coverage last week. The Buffaloes did. It was a great game against Nightcliff, and you guys really had the thousands of fans out there on edge too. It was a terrific game and well called by you two. Hopefully it'll be the same again, because the Tiwis are coming over victors for a change. And of course, as you said, the Buffaloes 3 in a row. How long has it been since Darwin won 4 in a row?
Well, in fact, funny, I asked that to Mark Motlop during the week, and he couldn't remember it himself. But let's have a look what Mark Motlop had to say in the lead up to this match.
It's been a while, and I don't think the historians at the club can even recall when we've won 4 in a row. But look, mate, I think you can't put the cart before the horse. We've got Tiwi this week. They've just come off a really, really good win, so we've got to be very careful. And having gone down to them just over on the Tiwis, they'll be full of confidence, and taking into account last week's performance against District. So, you know, although we came from behind, I guess, and really never lost the belief attitude, that was a good standing for us. But we've got to face up to two who are going to be, on the prowl this week.
Well, Mark Motlop and his troops got the better of the Tigers on the weekend, and Nightcliff, they're a side under a little bit of pressure after losing their last 2 games, Gray.
Yes, they fielded a very young side last week against the Buffaloes, and of course paid the ultimate price. The Nightcliff hierarchy will say that they want to give young guys a go, but they don't like losing games to football either. And I'm sure it'll be a different Nightcliff side out there this afternoon.
Of course, no one enjoys losing any games, but one upside I thought was Ryan Moo. I thought his performance as a 15-year-old was just quite inspired, actually.
Dave, he would be as tall, I reckon, as my waist. And in fact, I got the weight on him. He's 60 kilos and 165 centimetres high. So he's only tiny, but just reads the play so well. Played like a veteran with the poise he showed out there against the big guys. He's got a very bright future in the game as Ryan Moo.
Let's hope we don't put the mockers on him too early, Gray, but Nightcliff take on Waratahs this week. A big game for both clubs. Waratahs are an improved side, I feel, after the weekend's performance.
Well, they were. They actually hit the front, I think, at one stage against Palmerston after being 6 goals to nothing down. So Tim Weather will have a bit to work with there, and he'll need it because they've got to start winning. They've lost 7 in a row now, and of course, to be beaten by their traditional rival Nightcliff would go down like a bag of salt, I would say.
Yeah, it certainly would. Let's have a look at the ladder, and as we can see, St Mary's on top of the ladder, but there's the big news, Gray. The Buffaloes and Palmerston are both in the 5 at the moment.
Yes, terrific. These are the 2 strugglers from last season. It's great to see Mark Motlop and Dean Rioli have got their side up and running, and this gets back to the point system, doesn't it? Does the point system work or doesn't it?
Well, interesting question, obviously. We'll let the punters decide on that one, Gray, but another big weekend of football coming up. The game that we've got on AFLN TV once again, Tiwi taking on the Buffaloes, a huge game. All that action live and exclusive in high definition, which is some great news. Gray,
terrific.
Thanks very much for joining me once again today.
All the best.
Look forward to DK and Gray next week, but for now, thank you, and we'll see you next time.